Just think of it as the rough draft of the podcast world. This is the Newbie Writers Podcast with your hosts, Damian Boach and Catherine Bramkamp.
Hey, this is episode 175 of the Newbie Writers Podcast. And what a week. What a week. I've got another cold. That's fine. Anyway.
Just don't breathe too heavily in the mic so I don't get your cold, because I have had that happen.
I know. It's the beauty of the internet.
It's the Internet of Things and the Internet of Germs.
Do you reckon that's ever going to be a thing? You write sci-fi and future stuff. We can, instead of STDs, we get like ITDs, like Internet.
Maybe. I'm thinking about that in the future run book. It's like, how do you? I'm actually trying to figure out. Can you do haptic virtual sex, and what does that mean? So I'm thinking I have to do it kind of, not too graphically because it's a young adult novel, but I am thinking about that.
Oh. Can I have like the unedited version then?
Yes, you do.
God, we can talk about that. Anyway, we've got Chris Webber on. I think I pronounced that right, unless it's something strange like European.
No, you pronounced it perfectly.
Great.
Weber.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for coming on. We invited Chris on because he is a co-founder and CEO of AuthorRise.com. AuthorRise.com, and then I realized if you run it all together, it's authorized. I got it finally. And
really?
I'm a member. I've subscribed to it, and I thought it would be really interesting to talk about what you do with this, Chris, because there's pieces of it that I use that are really cool, and there's pieces that I'm not as familiar with, and so that's why we have you on, because you're here to help. You're here to help authors.
That's right. Yeah.
So tell us, just to start out, tell us a little bit about AuthorRise and what made you start it up, because I see that you're the co-founder and CEO and that whole startup California thing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important. We all need to do that at some point. It's like, are you part of a startup? Oh, of course I'm a part of a startup. Do you make any money? No, I just work myself to death, but it's cool.
You just summed up the whole experience so far. In under 10 seconds.
Both my husband and I work with them, so we get it. We totally get it. So tell us about AuthorRise.
So AuthorRise it's a fairly new site. We've been in business for a little over a year, but just opened to the public probably about 2 months now. And we deal with social media and marketing for authors, but when I talk to new authors about what we do, I talk about it as kind of a mix of a toolkit and a fitness center for your marketing. We create tools that authors can use for themselves to do social media marketing more effectively, but we're not a PR firm, so we don't do the marketing. We don't do marketing for authors. We don't book tours or anything like that. We build tools, and from our perspective, we run it kind of like a science lab. We build a lot of stuff. We put it on the site. Sometimes we don't even announce that we're putting a new feature in there, and we see who picks things up and what works and what doesn't work. And if it doesn't, we kill it and we try something else. So it's changing all the time. As the way people use social media changes, and as things that used to work stop working, and people find new ways of engaging with audiences, we try to be flexible for that.
That's interesting. So what are you seeing? What are you seeing as being a popular tool that authors are going onto the site and saying, "Ooh, cool, shiny," and picking it up and using it? So what's the new shiny thing?
Well, the new shiny thing is a tool called Flyers.
Okay.
But it really depends on the kind of author and where they are in terms of getting themselves set up to be professionally managing this side of their career. If they're just getting started, we have a goals section in the front, and it is very much like if you set fitness goals for yourself, where you can just keep track of how you're doing on a daily basis in terms of your activity. And if you meet your goals, the idea is over the long run, you'll see gains and you'll build your audience over time. Okay. But a lot of people, when they just get started, have no idea basic stuff. How often should I be posting? How should I be adding new people to my account? What does a good amount of audience engagement look like if you're posting onto Twitter? Like, if nobody is resharing, or if everybody is resharing, what am I doing right and wrong, and how can I improve? So the goals section is really where people that are just getting started begin to find value, because the first thing you can do before being really good at social media is just get busy. And so that section is meant to really just help you stay busy and stay motivated. But the flyers that I mentioned to you before are kind of this new tool we created. If you think of like old band flyers that people used to hand out, or stapled to telephone poles, it's kind of that analogy. It's a template where an author can take anything like a blog post or a review or an article and put it into this template. And at the bottom, we always attach a cover image of the book with a little description and, very importantly, a buy button. So it'll take you straight into Amazon. You can buy it with one click, and a little bio for the author. And what we tried to do is build a tool that we can give to an author and say, look, you do your thing, you write a blog post, write a review of another author's book, just keep writing. And then you can bring it here, put it in, and it's a piece of marketing ready to go. And you can reuse it over time. And very importantly, we have analytics attached to it, so you can see how many people are clicking on one flyer versus another, and you can see how many people are going and checking out your book versus the article that you put in there. And so,
and where do the flyers go? I mean, do you post it on Twitter, Facebook? Okay, so you just
right now it's built mostly for Twitter, and so you can send it straight to Twitter from our site. But it's just a URL, and so you can post it into a Facebook update with, a little, hey, here's my latest blog post, and you can see how you do on Facebook compared to Twitter, and you can see where your traffic is actually coming from.
So instead of, and I'm just breaking this down because some of the social media is like this impermeable thing for writers, for authors. They're just like, no, please. I'd rather go back to 5th grade gym class than do social media. So let's say you have, one of the reasons you would use a flyer as opposed to just going into Twitter and just doing a native post, just like, hey everybody, buy my book, which by the way, don't do that.
Yes, please.
The flyer is tagged so that you can run analytics. I mean, that would be the advantage. So you could see where everything is going, and that's what you guys help set up for the author. You embed it so an author who's not familiar with running analytics or with managing that, you've created a system that's like one step simpler. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's totally right.
Okay.
When we originally built this and we tested it with about 700 authors as just a beta test, originally we built it more like a dashboard, like what you would see from if you were a social media professional. So if you worked at a company and ran social media, they all have these great dashboards that show them every statistic you'd ever want to know under the sun.
Which is scary.
Which is scary, but if you're a pro, that's what you need to know. But authors by and large are not marketing professionals, nor do they want to become them. And so we strip out all of the what it's called in the industry vanity metrics.
Oh, good. Okay.
And we try to just show you the things that you need to know whether or not something is connecting with your readers.
Cool. Okay.
But the other thing about the flyer is that since it's a template that you're supposed to fill in with content, we're really trying to shift people's focus away from that kind of, I just need to send a tweet and I don't know what to write, so because I can't fit it into 140 characters, so I'll just say buy my book, which is just the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
And get them to focus on quality content, quality writing.
Okay. And make it easy so that it's not so daunting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got a question. Why authors? Why help authors?
That's a really good question. So this is starts out as a personal rationale, but we want to expand beyond authors in the long run. But my first degree was in literature, and my
shout out
first
for
love
humanities.
is books. Yeah, oh yeah. Literature and American Studies was my jam back in the day, and I worked as I went back to school and got a design degree, and worked as a product designer for a while, and then as a what's called an innovation strategist in California, where we worked with giant companies like kind of Fortune 500 companies, helping them build new businesses. But I wanted to start something of my own where I could, see results and feel like I was doing something meaningful. And for me, the opportunity to help a group like authors who I have such respect for, and they, reading, I think, has given me everything I have in life so far. I thought, I could actually do something to help this crowd out. And
That's
my co-founder
cool.
has been a journalist for the past, 15 years or so. So he's a writer and an author in his own right.
Why do you think authors just don't get it with social media? I was just having this conversation.
That's a really good question. Yeah. That's a good question.
It's just, I don't know why. Like, I know there's exceptions to the rules, all that sort of stuff, but on the whole, like, I don't follow Twitter much anymore. I'm on there, but it just, there's no point in even reading them. It's just constant, buy my book, just ignore it. And I had this conversation with someone only this morning about sort of trying to change the thinking and go, well, social media, socially engage with people. I don't need it. Stop being
it's a radical idea.
Yeah, stop being a walking advert.
Yeah.
Why do they miss it so much, though?
Well, so I think, it's easy to kind of say, well, authors see themselves as artists, and artists don't want to sell out or feel like a shill or do that kind of thing. But I think the music industry, which musicians would say that they're artists as well, they cracked this kind of formula a long, long time ago, and I think it's because in that industry there is a rich and appreciated history of hustle. Before there was social media, if you were a band, you booked gigs and you sold CDs out of the back of your car, and that's how you built your fan base, right? You hit the bricks and you just did it day in and day out. And so when social media came along, I think musicians, well, music is, you get quick hits and it's kind of easier to digest quickly. But as a culture, they also have this culture of hustle, where it's not seen as antithetical to your art. It's just a part of the business of being a band. And we haven't seen that really with authors, because they've been, I don't know if I want to say this, but coddled by the publishing industry that said, we'll do everything for you. Whether they do it well or not is a different question. But that was kind of the perception of it.
Yeah, because I was in bands, and it's still that social aspect. You'd be sitting there having a beer and talking about bands that are on, and then they'd say, "Oh, which band? Are you in a band?" Like, yes, we're on next. Put the beer down and go up there. It's sort of, there was no just sending out blanket messages to people, going, "Come on, buy our CD." Like, no one gets shit. Let's be honest.
Well, I think the authors. And there's another piece to this, and this is, I think, very much the case. The reason that some authors, most authors, let's go for 90%, are very successful is because they like to sit. We, one of them, we like to sit in a isolated little space all by ourselves, nice and quiet, and we create. So the band member is already part of the art, is performing it in front of people. And for authors, there is very little call while you're starting to perform at all. And so I think maybe social media goes along with authors who I've talked with, and we've had Betsy Fastbinder, who's been on our show, who works with authors on how to help them do public speaking. They're tongue-tied, freaked out, they can't talk. And if you've ever tried to talk to a particularly shy author, it's murderous. You can't. It's like, please, let me drag this out of you. And they have really soft voices, and they just don't do it. So I think maybe that's hand in hand. We've got an inherent personality issue as well. Band members, if you're out there playing the drums and putting yourself out there, literally, you're going to be better at talking to people just as a rule. You're going to have more social skills, essentially.
Yeah.
There's not enough scandal in the author world. That's what.
No, there's not enough scandal. And the drug use is way down since Fitzgerald, Hemingway, etc. died. It's not the same.
Yeah, you're not going to see. I don't know. You're not going to see a website saying, I don't know, Catherine Bramkamp was found on a drunken bender while promoting her book. Actually, you probably would.
Yeah, but I'm more subtle than that, and Huffington Post doesn't know I exist yet. Woo!
See,
so
you're not gonna have TMZ knocking on Francis Caballo's door, going, "Hey, what's going on?"
That's right.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So,
well, maybe that's the problem.
Tragic.
So what can we do to change this? I don't condone. I don't know, authors. Yeah, you don't get your cocaine kit when you sign up to Amazon.
No, you don't. You do not. Mostly because we can't afford it. I think that goes hand in hand too. It's like you sell 4 books on Amazon, you get your 75 cents. Woo! I'm buying gum, and that's as good as it gets for the month.
Is that it as well? The celebrities of the author world aren't really celebrities. They are the softly spoken, mumsy dressed, or and they just sit and go, "Yeah, I wrote a book." And now I'm loaded.
Yeah, that's it. I wrote a book. That's all you can get out of them sometimes. It's like I want to smack them around. Talk to me!
I think, yeah.
Well, and that's the tough part is that for people like that, social media is actually about as close as it gets to an ideal communication form. You don't have to be an interesting person to be great on social media. You have to be interested in things that your readers are interested in, which, theoretically, if you have readers, they're interested in the same stuff that you are. And so you can be as big an introvert as you want. All you have to do is share, the things that you're interested in. You don't have to talk to anybody. You post things up in your solitary little room all day long, and people are going to connect with it.
That's a good point, and maybe something that should be more emphasized for authors. It's like, you and people have. Francis Caballo have, Nina Mir have. I've gone to lectures where they're like, look, this is about as perfect as it gets. You don't have to open your mouth. You just click, 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 and you're good. So, but I still think that clearly a little help is needed. So you've got so when someone signs up for author, author says, okay, I need to get myself out there. What are just basically outline what are some of the steps that you help walk an author through with AuthorRise when they sign up?
Yeah, so when they sign up, we have a whole section of our site called Learn, and that's it's a mix that tells you how to use the site as well as how to kind of philosophically approach what we've built. So the goals, if you think of it as a fitness regimen, we're trying to encourage people to build in long-term habits, right? Because the worst thing you can do is sign up for Twitter, post a bunch of tweets, and think that you're going to see sales right away.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a long-term mindset around this. I think John Green said that for the first 150 or 200 YouTube videos that him and his brother put up, they had under 200 followers. And,
that's helpful for the rest of us.
That's a tremendous amount of effort but they did it because they loved it. They weren't doing it because they expected to, have a breakout hit any day.
Yeah. And sometimes people do go at it that way, which is even more disappointing than when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Do you think that people, when it comes to social media things, should they have what's the term? Okay, here's the thing. Should they have a professional outlook and then their personal outlook and keep them separate? Because for me, I've got my business one, but I don't really use that too much. But the podcast social media angle that is, I'll happily post a picture of a cat humping a bird. It doesn't really bother me. Because I find that funny. That's who I am. But do some authors see that as detrimental, saying, well, hang on, I've got my book, so this is the angle and the approach I'll take. I'm not going to post a picture of a cat. I love cats, but that's not my book.
Yeah, I think the days of kind of really clearly delineating your personal identity from your, public identity, I think they're kind of gone. People, there's so many authors out there, once you reach outside of authors, there's so many people out there posting and talking and looking for new things to engage with, and the flood can be overwhelming. And so the thing that cuts through the noise now is authenticity, which I think if you're not being messy and mixing your professional and your personal together and showing people that you are a person, not just a book cover, that's the most effective thing that you can do. And it's very difficult. I struggled with the exact same thing when I started this company, because when we started AuthorRise, we had no intention of starting a social media anything, and I was not a heavy social media user, so I had to learn everything as we built this. And it's a tough process, but once you let go and stop kind of overthinking it and worrying about it too much, everything becomes much easier.
Yeah.
So you evolved. So tell us a little bit about that, because it's always interesting. You start out one way, and it's like, oh look, we're actually doing this over here. Surprise. So what was that? What was that shift then?
Well, when we started it, my co-founder's name is David Goldenberg, and when we started it, it was a couple of years ago, and we had been looking for an opportunity to work together for years, and this was right when Kickstarter was gathering momentum and crowdfunding seemed really cool, and as a product designer, I love the idea of giving people agency to produce their own thing without having to go through, all of the different channels. Like you can do it on your own, and you can find your audience, and you're good to go. So we thought, well, maybe we'll try to do a crowdfunding just for books model.
Okay.
And what we did was we went out and talked to a couple dozen authors, and that's traditionally published and hybrid and self-published. And we found authors on Kickstarter and bugged a whole bunch of them until they talked to us, both successful and unsuccessful. And we talked to them and just asked them a lot of questions about how it was and what worked and didn't work. And they all kind of had this response that, well, yeah, like raising this money up front was great and all. The ones that didn't raise the money didn't say that. They had different words for it. But the one thing that they all talked about was how they had no idea how to build that audience in the first place. Like, you cannot have a successful crowdfunding campaign if you don't have an audience. And a lot of them didn't have an audience, didn't know how to build it. And so we said, okay, well, let's start at the beginning then, and we'll try to tackle this problem of helping authors build their audience so that, they can go and do crowdfunding if they want, or they can, just sell directly to those people.
Yeah. Right.
And so we ended up building a social media focused business, just because of what we heard as the overwhelming need.
So
very good.
You've got a product design background. What's the most stupid product spec that you've had come across your desk?
Is this in terms of books or
anything?
No, just pick something. We're good.
Yeah. Like a useless machine. You'd be like, the brief is we need to have a box that you push a button, that the lid opens and then shuts again. Right. Are you serious?
That's a tough one. I think the stupidest, but also one of the ones I've liked the most, was a little handheld device that was an offline Wikipedia reader.
Right.
So it had all of Wikipedia, and it was like a little black and white screen, and you could search the whole thing. And then the iPhone came out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Never mind.
Like 2 months later, and so it seemed like kind of fun and quirky, and then immediately irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah.
How come that didn't happen to the selfie stick? Let's put my phone on
That is going great guns.
That's bullshit. Anyway.
Well, I just saw somebody, is developing a drone that can follow you around and take
Oh.
video and pictures of you. So the selfie stick may take the same direction relatively soon.
Yeah, so I followed that. That's such a cool idea. That it's like a wearable. They won some innovation award, didn't they? I'm trying to remember the name of them now.
For the drone that follows you around?
Yeah, it's like a watch, and then you flick a button on the bottom, and it launches off your wrist, and it follows you around. It's cool.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious, and yet really frightening and great science fiction. It's like, put your drone away. Pretty soon museums, because they don't like selfie sticks now, museums will say no drones. Can you see them banging off of the art? It's like, oh, sorry about that. My bad. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, my God.
So is there going to be new indecent exposure laws, like put your drone away?
Yeah.
You filthy man.
Or you launch it accidentally on inappropriate moments. I can visualize a lot of this really going wrong very quickly, which is why it's funny.
You can visualize me doing a lot of it, I think.
Oh my God! It's like, how was last night? Well, it was great until his drone launched. It's like, is that a new metaphor? No, his drone really launched.
Oh, my brain is racing now.
I'm sorry, I went right there. No,
you did. So bad. Anyway.
Can't believe it. So we've got Twitter. Here's something else that I love about AuthorRise is that you guys help me follow my rankings in Amazon. So so when as I was telling Damien, so when I rocket from 1 millionth place to 750,000th place, I get a little notice from AuthorRise. Thumbs up! Just moved up in rankings. Tell me how you guys did that. Did you have to work with Amazon, or you just like put a little app or a snippet in there and you're good to go?
We're still trying to figure out how to work with Amazon. That's an ongoing struggle.
Yeah.
I actually have a great relationship with one of the guys at Kindle, and we're talking about how we can work together going forward. But we built that pretty much just off the public information, and the impetus for it was just, it seems like such a crime that you can list your books for sale and you can do all of this work, and there's nowhere that you can just kind of see what's going on with all of your books in one place, in something close to real time. I know that publishers are the worst of all in that they give you your quarterly results or whatever.
Oh, yeah, you can never tell. That's what people ask me. How are your books doing? I don't know. I'm not going to know until October. Woo!
Yeah, and so we use Rank because nobody's going to give us their exact real-time sales information. But Rank is a pretty good proxy, and the point is not to know exactly how many books you sold at any given moment. It's to have a more of a mindful approach to your book selling in general, which is like keeping an eye on things.
Yeah.
And if you know what's happening kind of as it's happening, if you see a big spike in your rank, what we encourage authors to do, and we have literature around it, but also I tell authors when I talk to them on the phone all the time, this is like use that as a moment to reflect and see if you did anything surprising on social media. Did you get some coverage? The whole point is to use the information to get better over time, and know what works and doesn't work, not just to say to yourself, oh, I sold something today, and then go right back to hoping for the best.
Yeah.
So
same old.
Being in real time though, that's going to develop a bad habit of refreshing the page.
Yeah, refresh. Yeah, maybe someone else bought something.
So, Catherine, did you then go back up to 1 million, or did it stay around 700,000?
I don't know, because there's part of me that says, yay, we're doing okay, and then another part is I don't want to sit there and obsess. I also know that just having the visits, just having the the rankings aren't necessarily sales, and so that would be my next question. There are paid for apps that you can get that will show you your sales, And that would be the next. That would be the next thing. Is that, can you look at a jump in sales? I can do it on my own self-published books. I can go into Amazon, but of course I can't access stuff that my publishers put up, and that's a frustration of a hybrid author, because it's possible, you just can't get to it.
Yeah. Well, for a while we were showing sales information too. We had built a system that basically logged into Amazon on behalf of the author to check those things, but Amazon does not like that at all. They have a whole team of people dedicated to stopping that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and so
just want to know.
It is your information, but it's not. And so you're not allowed to just do whatever you want with it, unfortunately. I think it's great that they show you that information, but they certainly don't make it easily available.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So, the interesting thing about rank, which not a lot of authors know, is it is directly related to sales, but it changes based on the time since your last sale.
Oh, okay.
So if you sell a bunch of books, your rank will jump up, and then you'll usually see something that we call the drift, where then the rank kind of floats back down slowly like a leaf on the wind over time, and that's because the time since those sales happened is getting longer and longer, and other books are all like shifting up as they go.
Okay. Huh. And is there a direct correlation between rank and number of books that an author could suss out, or is that not direct?
Yeah, there are sites that will do that math for you but the best that anybody can do is give you an estimate.
Okay.
Unless you're in Amazon or in a publisher's site where they know exactly what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought that. Good. That was just a question I had, because I like it. I like knowing that things have bumped up, because then I can say, oh, good. I just did a campaign, or I just did a show, and it's just kind of Google Analytics. Oh, look, we got a bump in visits on the websites. So it is a good thing if you can, and no one, at least that I've come across, has been able to really correlate. We did this, and this tweet made this many book sales happen. Or maybe I'm wrong. There might be something out there.
When you log in next time, if you're looking at your book dashboard where you can track all of your books, if you click on any one book, you'll see another chart that shows you, it correlates your rank with your Twitter reach. And so you can see if there was a day where you got retweeted by Hugh Howey, and all of a sudden you reached however hundreds of thousands or whatever people he has, you can see if there was a similar change in your book rank. And we'll be adding other social media platforms as we go. Facebook's next, so that you can see, well, maybe it wasn't Twitter, it was Facebook, and there was a spike. But it's tough because there's so many things that can influence a sale.
Yes.
That we can only capture a small amount of it. Which is why overall we try to message that the whole point of knowing all of this information is not just to have more information, and like you said, Damien, it's not just to be obsessed with the real-time numbers. It's to take more and more of an experimental mindset over time, which is thinking about trying something and then seeing if it works, and if it does work, you try something like that and see if it works again, rather than just what we call the spray and pray approach, which is just posting stuff and hoping for the best.
That should be the title of the show. 175, spray and pray. That's a good idea. So
I agree, but I think that if and I'm working on this in various blogs, and I'll say it on this show, is that I think if we, and I'm getting my head around this, if we approach the social media, the whole thing, not so much as this do or die, or I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to tweet once and then go away, but as an experiment, so that it's like, all right, I did, and you have to look at your analytics so that you can experiment, but just say, all right, I tried this and I got this much out of it, so let's take our, hashtags. Those hashtags did well, so let's go try them again for another week and then see what happens. I also don't think that we should be checking our social media rankings and things every day, because it's sort of like when you try to lose weight, you get on the scale every hour. It's like, okay, that's depressing. I would do it and then check it every week so that you can actually have an idea of what's going on. But it is an experiment. It has to be, because as soon as you figure out something, the game changes.
Yeah.
So if you went for absolutes, it would be every time Amazon or Facebook's huge about this, comes out with another way of doing things, you get really frustrated because you're like, but I just learned how to do A and now you want us to do B? This is terrible. Then you get worked up about it.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe, I'm going to probably piss a lot of people off now, but
that's what you do, so it's
that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that because a lot of authors of a different generation, let's be honest, older, because they get time to do that, and they haven't grown up with social media, that it's harder for them? It's daunting. I just think of, if my mother was to write a book, she has trouble using a phone, let alone Facebook. And I don't know. I'm generalizing here, and I would really like younger people to email me and say, no, I don't get social media. That's bullshit.
No, they wouldn't, but they would tweet it.
I just see that, I don't know, I get this vibe that the people that struggle the most are people that are older. Catherine.
Hey.
Oh, I think we lost Chris too. He hung up.
Hey guys, you still there?
Said older and he's gone.
No, he's back now.
No, he's back.
I heard it go bloop.
So Chris,
that was very strange.
That's what I think. But what do you see? Can you do any kind of demographic work with AuthorRise?
Well, we don't collect age information when people sign up. We actually don't collect much personal information at all. But it is completely true that people of a older demographic have a harder time with this stuff. I don't think that it's something that should be. You certainly shouldn't feel bad about it. It's not. There's nothing wrong with not knowing something. I mean, kids today grow up doing this stuff, and they're much better at it than I am. But I think that the thing that I coach people on, and a lot of the people that I talk to on the phone and give coaching to are of that older. Of that older generation, is I tell them a couple things. I tell them, just sign up and get started, and don't overthink it. Just keep trying things. Go out there and learn slowly. There's no consequences to doing Twitter wrong. The worst thing you can do is sign up, do it for a couple of days, feel like you're doing it wrong, and give up. And just say, the line I get most is, I just don't get it.
Okay.
Which is, it's a very fixed mindset, where if you're going from being an author to having to be an author and a marketer and run your own business, you need to have a flexible mindset, which is, I'm going to learn this over time. There's no rush, because the best thing about social media is there's so much traffic on it that if you royally mess up and do something really stupid, almost nobody's going to see it.
That's the good and bad news, right?
Yeah, it's the good and bad news.
Unless you tell the Prime Minister that he looks like a rapist.
Yeah, that might get out.
Yeah,
there are a few things you could do that would catch attention, but if you forget it, if you don't know how to use hashtags and you're using them wrong, it takes a quick Google search to see how to use hashtags, and all those things where you did it wrong, it's fine.
Yeah, and you just kind of go back and regroup, and then start over again. And I think the reinvention piece, if you're comfortable with reinvention, which you sort of need to be, you can say, oh, I did that completely wrong. All right, then now I learned a new thing, and it's so ethereal that you can't break the internet. And there is a generation, it's even older than I am, where you used to be able to totally crash your computer if you hit the wrong key. And so there's still that mindset. It's like, holy crap, I'm going to lose that's my mother. I'm going to lose everything. And my son would have to patiently explain, no, nothing is lost. In fact, that's one of the problems.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. But that's, you know, it's like, ooh, you know, something bad will happen if I hit the wrong key. And I think that there's that too, because there's a lot of authors who they are more mature, and this is they've retired. It's finally time to be able to write, and now, damn it, they've got to learn this new thing, and it's not making them happy. Not the authors I know. So I'm making them very unhappy. So anything like with your program that would help, I think, is valuable for them.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because we actually just this week started a new program called Flyers on Demand, and the idea with that is if somebody gets in touch with us and sets us up with a couple of pieces of information like their blog and you know, a review of their book that they like and a book by somebody else that they would recommend to their readers. You know, we ask them for a bunch of things, and then we will create a couple weeks worth of flyers for them.
Oh, okay.
That then all they have to do is share it.
Very cool.
And you know, I don't know if it'll catch on or not, and I don't want to build a social media PR firm. That's not the point. But you know, if we can give people kind of best practices around how to get started, that's kind of the idea. Is you know, we'll build some of this and help you out with it, so that you don't have to figure it all out on your own. But
that's really nice.
You know, you still, unfortunately, as an author, you still have to do the work. You know, and the best thing you can do is, we call it at AuthorRise, we call it parallel writing, which is non-book content that would also be interesting to your readers. And that can be articles, blog posts, interviews. The only thing that you need to be aware of is, don't just write about being a writer, because then you get a huge audience of fellow writers who don't buy your book.
They won't buy your book, exactly.
So you have to make sure that what you're writing is for readers.
Yeah. Well, now tell me, and you do not have to be specific, but how do you make your money?
So
you're giving all this great stuff. You cannot be doing this for free. So how do you guys?
We don't make a lot of money right now, because we're just getting started.
Fair enough. That's the startup thing too. So you're good there.
But there's a couple of different levels of membership. So it's a monthly membership, and you probably have a free one where you can track and manage 2 of your books.
Yep, likely. Yes, I do. We
meant that for kind of authors just getting started, or just trying to wrap their heads around, you know, what we do. But we have paid levels as well if you want to manage more than 2 books. Okay. We make a little bit of affiliate fee when an author sells a book using one of our flyers. The nice thing is that comes out of Amazon's side, not the author's side.
Well, that's interesting. Okay.
And then this Flyers on Demand model is it's a paid service, and so we're playing with the pricing, but the idea is, you know, you give us a little bit of money and we'll, you know, spend some time and make these things for you to help you share them. But the pricing, we just based it around, basically it's $2 a book a month, broken into a couple of bigger lumps, like it's 5 books, and then I think the next one up is essentially unlimited. But we think of it as kind of a gym membership for your social media marketing. And so the idea is, if you can sell 1 more book a month using our tools, then they're paid for. And that seems fair.
Yeah, that is. That's very fair.
So
we'll see.
What sets AuthorRise apart from, you know, say another company that wants to do this or is doing this? I think you're a new business, so I'm sure you've got your little tick sheet going, right, well, this company doesn't do such and such, so we'll do that.
Well, for us, the way I see us sitting in the kind of business space out there is, we sit in between social media and a sales channel. And as we grow, we're going to add more social media channels and more sales channels. And we're pretty much agnostic. So if you use Facebook instead of Twitter, that's fine. There's tons of services out there that will let you track your social media. but what they don't do is tie it to your sales. And so our whole role is connecting the dots between one and the other. And we have a process that we know works, which is it involves setting goals and then taking certain activities like creating work and then tracking your results. And so our process, anybody can copy that. That's fine. But nobody's doing it right now, especially kind of sitting in this middle space and trying to bring all that information together in one place.
It seems fairly simplistic. Like I was looking at the website, and you currently have a promotion at the moment where if you sign up, it's free forever, which is a good thing. Authors like free.
Yep.
Anyone free is black.
But it's simple by design. Like we were just talking about, a lot of people are new to social media, or even if they're not, they're not looking for a million pieces of information. They're looking for the one or two things that they really need, and that's how we approach the tools that we build, as well as the kind of data that we show.
So, do you think? What about yourself, though? Have you got that interest to maybe write a book about this sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's on the horizon. I still feel very much like an imposter because I'm not, one of the kids that jumped on social media and kind of got it right away. If anything, I don't get it. But I think it's part of the strength, actually, is I have to make sense of it all the time and justify it and figure out how to make it work.
See, that's my angle. You talk about being an imposter. We've done 175 shows and I haven't got a book out yet.
It still has nothing to say.
But that's the beauty of it. I am the newbie on this show. So
yeah.
I think it does work because it gives a little bit of more, it's a bit more genuine. I think people can say, well, hang on, Damien is the idiot on the show. And I can relate to that. Hello, fellow idiots. Yeah. It does give a little bit of. It's a bit more honest. I think we can tie it back to that. Be yourself out there. You can have a book.
Yeah, that integrity and that authenticity. Because that's what when people ask me about podcasting, there's a lot more. I had a couple of articles that just came out this week. One is on She Writes Press and another blog on podcasting, and people will say, well, what do you do? And they do just what they do with social media, right? They start overthinking it. It's like, well, how do you edit it, and how do you make it sound so slick, et cetera. And it's like, no, that's not what podcasting's about. If you want slick, listen to NPR. We're out there talking, and those have been the successful podcasts. Has been the ones where they just do it. So I think you're right about applying that to social media, where it's just about doing it. And some of the real stars in social media right now they're just the people who are like, this is a cool picture, click.
Yep.
Dump a couple hashtags and they're out, but they are consistent. So I think that's probably the one thing that you have to sort of get yourself into is the consistency.
Yeah. I mean, they're just tools like anything else. And if anything, if I do write a book about this, that's the overarching point that I would try to make, which is like, social media is not some special thing that it's not magic. It's just a set of tools that you can use to talk to your fans and to your readers or potential readers. And the tool doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook or Twitter. Ideally you're using all of them, but the whole point is to use them in a way that works for you, not to figure out the right way to do it and then just follow that formula. People see through that kind of approach in a heartbeat.
No, that's a very good point. That was someone who was asking me the other day. They said, well, what kind of camera should I take on my trip? I said, the one you'll use.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter.
Because if you had I had the same kind of thing. If you have something really super fabulous, you've got this $25,000 camera, hang out with photographers, and it's like, and you're really worried about it, and you don't want to lose it, so you don't bring it with you, so you end up using your phone anyway. Just bring the phone to take the picture. So I think maybe social media can look at the same way. Whatever like links up and works, then just go ahead and do that, and don't worry about the other stuff or that quote something's trendy, because it's really hard to follow. It's really hard to chase trends. That's another thing that sometimes I think people get caught up in.
Yeah.
I think we should go back to those disposable cameras where you crank the little wheel across.
That's fun. Those are fun. The other
They just
one
made
is
an app for that.
Did they really?
Of course they
Yeah. I don't know what that means. It hurt my brain a little bit to read the headline, but apparently there's a disposable camera app.
So that you can, yeah. There's a couple of ones. I want the app to make my phone into an Etch-a-Sketch. I think that's important too.
Oh.
See,
No.
that's a nostalgia thing.
Yes, but I'm just thinking, what a wasteful app. You can do.
Oh yeah, like all the other apps are like really important and good.
Oh yeah, Angry Birds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly. Candy Crush. Oh, there's a good use of our time.
All right, well, anyway, we've got a few things to move on to, but Chris, where can people find AuthorRise and yourself and all the social media stuff out there on the internet?
Yeah, well, you can find us at AuthorRise.com. It's 2 words smashed together, AuthorRise. We have a blog that we keep, and there's a link at the bottom of the page, but it's just blog.authorize.com. We do author interviews there called Talking Shop, where they talk about what works and doesn't work for them in terms of marketing and just the writer life.
Oh, okay.
We feature something called the Author Blog of the Day on there, where we find blogs that we think are interesting and helpful and inspirational, and we share them. And we're on Twitter and Facebook. I don't think we're on LinkedIn, but I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes. Is it's the CEO or the CFO, CEO will be on LinkedIn as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like LinkedIn.
I know you don't. It's like a really grown-up thing. What can we say?
Yes, it is. And yes, I am a director of a company, but I'm also an idiot online. So I can't. It just I have people in their suits, and then I think whatever.
I love millennials. You guys crack me up.
Why?
My son his company just got bought, and one of the first things he said is, "Well, the new overlords have decided." Oh God, you guys are impossible to manage.
This is completely off track, but I've been addicted to that show called Suits. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know it.
It's a lawyer show. I don't really get into lawyer shows, but what's funny is the head lawyer there is a little bit cocky, bit of a pain in the neck. Apparently, it's been pointed out, is like me.
Uh-oh.
And I'm jealous now because that man can wear a suit. So I think I need to start wearing suits.
Yeah,
give it a
shot.
That's practical for your business.
Yes, because how strange would it be if I rocked up to a job and said, I need to crawl under the floor to run some cabling, hold my suit jacket.
Exactly. Just hold this. It could be I want to see that. Have somebody take an Instagram for me, okay?
I'm not on Instagram either. Anyway. I don't need to
we just went off topic. So sorry.
I don't need to take photos of my sandwich. I'm sorry. I do that on Google Plus
we don't
enough.
do that. You take cool photos and then you follow cool people on Instagram who take cool photos.
Photos of food on Instagram makes me hungry. Anyway, foodogram. Now,
okay.
Should we do a word of the week?
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Well,
you were going to do this because I'm jammed up on my computer. So.
Word of the week comes from a word a day with Anu Garg, and it's Hamish. What? Hamish. It's a person's name. But it's actually spelled Heimissch. And it means homely or unpretentious. What?
See, I thought that was interesting.
You're unpretentious.
Right. Well, I'm too pretentious to care. So, Hamish. There you go. Get that into a sentence. All right. Prompt. Let's do a prompt. Catherine, you can read this one out.
Actually, my oh wait. My word program just totally stopped down, so you're going to have to do the prompt.
Right. Well, we like to do prompts for those.
Having technical difficulties in Word, we won't go into Microsoft Word as a general idea.
No, that's what OpenOffice is for. So
it's okay. They're not listening anyway.
No,
that's true.
But
maybe their drones are, though. You never know.
I do have
Microsoft is scary. Okay, sorry. You have to do the prop, though, because it totally just stopped. I'm having a little challenge.
Right, well, you still sound clear, so don't touch a thing.
I won't touch anything, I promise.
What if everything we do was measured in terms of ROI? What is the ROI of watching TV? What is the ROI of drinking with friends? What would be the final ROI in life's accounting? Write about measuring everything every day. Write about what life would be like if we measured nothing. Right. ROI, what does that stand for?
Return on investment.
Right. I should know that.
Yes, you should. You're the CEO of a company. That goes along with the soup thing, though, probably, right?
Yes, but I don't need to invest in anything.
I have a feeling, and you have someone else doing your books, and so maybe I'll call up Sharon. What's the ROI on this?
She'd have no idea either. Actually, we had this conversation with my accountant. He said to me, "So what do you do to market?" And I said, "I don't do anything." He says, "Well, how are you getting your customers?" I said, "They ring me."
Yeah.
So yes, ROI.
So you would fall in the don't measure anything side of things.
Oh, big time. And it's really bad. You talk about doing a bad promotion for your business. Fire out. I'm sitting there going, "Oh, well, I don't know what that is." Or he'd ask me about certain rates and percentages and returns, and I go, "I don't know. It just happens."
It happens. Yeah. Well, you have a specialty, and it's word of mouth. And there's some businesses that are very much like that. For the most part, my consulting business is word of mouth. So and it's hard to you're not doing anything. You're just you pick up the phone. What's the ROI on that, right?
That's right. And here's the thing: social media is word of mouth in a roundabout way. This is what I found anyway, and this is I think where people miss the mark a little bit. Is if you're genuine enough, people will tag you in something. That's the word of mouth, and they think, well, this guy might like it. And that connects you then with the person that posted up originally. And we find this, our listeners will contact us occasionally, or we'll get someone to say, "I saw the link on a Google post or a Facebook post, and I found your show and I like it."
Yeah.
That's how it works. Stop
that works. But it doesn't work, I think, for a lot of people, it doesn't work fast enough, and that's where we run into the buy my book thing. Because you start getting a little desperate. So, but you're right. I think it's just you just kind of grow it, and then once it starts rolling, it's going to be a lot easier. But that's that takes time.
Right. It's like dating. Everybody loves to smell desperation on a potential date, right?
Oh yeah, favorite. Yeah, I think you guys. I think that men in particular are really good at sensing the desperation from like across a large gym. You guys are good. And you just look over, it's like, oh no. The girls need to figure that out. Is like, you really need to chill because they can tell.
I wasn't desperate on my first date. I just moved in.
There you go. Oh, good. That was fast. It's expedient, efficient. Good.
Just wait until the fridge is empty, then I'll leave.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it's grocery shopping day today, so happens every week. Anyway.
Yes, you do have to buy food for yourself and the boy. That's the deal.
Let's do a tortured sentence. Next time, don't put the Roman glasses on the right slab. Tortured sentences. So that is actually what happens in the coding on Chris's website when Catherine logs in.
Yeah. She's back.
Torture. Anyway. Oh, and she signed up for free for life. It's such a shame.
Yeah, what is the ROI on that, I wonder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. It's not great.
No, it's not great.
Anyway. So this was from some fiction contest you've linked me here.
Yes, and it's from, we were talking about The Dark and Stormy Night, the world's worst opening sentences, and there is and I knew this because I have the books. So there's an annual contest, and that's what you can tell what the contest is on the website. There's an annual contest run from a university professor who just started it, and it snowballed. And So I went into the website and looked at some of the more interesting opening sentences, and so I thought we'd share one of those.
I've just gone to the website now. I'm going to look at it a bit later. But so it says that was it the Bulwer Lytton Fiction Contest, where WW means Wretched Writers Welcome.
Yeah.
Right. So you pulled this one out. And it says so. This is an opening sentence of a story or a book. Is that right?
Yes, that's the rules. It has to be the opening sentence of a book.
Oh, right. Because I just sort of glanced at it before, and I thought, well, that's stock standard paragraph in the middle of a book. Clearly, I was wrong. This one says, as the foeman's axe descended, Ragnar Thorvaldsen thought quickly, but with uncannily prescient anachronism, can't even speak today, that his paltry contribution to this raid would not be recorded in the great sagas or even a minor tale, but at best he might be remembered centuries hence only as third oarsman in the boy's own book of Viking adventure stories. Is that the blurb?
That's the opening sentence.
Can we get back to Once Upon a Time?
For Tortured, you can't beat it. It's awesome.
That's pretty hard to
And
read.
how did he made a poultry contribution? Is that
Paltry.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Poultry.
I think he made a paltry contribution, not a poultry contribution.
Oh, are we going to get into our accent differences here?
I wasn't going to say anything, but a poultry contribution is a little more interesting, actually.
Actually,
I think it improves the sentence.
It improves the ROI of the raid.
Could you imagine Vikings? Yeah, they're charging on the beach, coming off their boats, and there's one guy's got like 2 chickens under his arm.
Chickens. I got the chickens. Woo! Eat tonight.
Charge, man! You be careful with them chickens. And I don't know, the name that he chose rang a bell. I'm a big World of Warcraft player, and I thought that sounds ripped off to me, so I did Google it before.
Sure.
It didn't come up, but it's very, very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, and that's part of what a lot of these bad sentences are doing, is they're doing a rift on some of the genres that, typical genres. And there's another one that I will hit you with, probably when I'm not in town or even in the country, which is this wonderful sentence with completely made up words. It's one of those, the opening fantasy where you make up every name has to be from this other language, and it's almost unreadable. It's like reading Middle English, and in fact, Middle English I could read, but it's crazy. So I'll send that to you at the end of the month, and you can read it and then curse me, and I won't know.
Well, I'm at this site. I want to read one more out because there's the special award, the grand special award.
Okay.
And this one is, as he girded himself against the noxious sulphurous fumes that belched from the chasm in preparation for descent into the bowels of the mountain where mighty pressure and I need a breath. Mighty pressure and unimaginable heat made rock run in syrupy rivers. Bob paused to consider the unlikely series of events that had led him to become the great god Vulcan's proctologist.
Wow. That took a left turn that I wasn't expecting.
No.
That's what's funny about them.
Bob. You didn't really try.
Proctologist.
Oof.
Bob.
Bob the proctologist. What an interesting job. That's just look. That person deserves the award. Congratulations.
See? Yeah. Totally great. It's very fun, and I thought that would be a fun tortured sentences, because they're award-winning tortured sentences.
Well, I'm going to hang out on this website, but hopefully I don't end up on here.
You have to apply to win.
Really?
Yes, you have to send it in, and it's vetted. So these are culled from many sentences.
No, but these people wouldn't be sending this in, though, surely, like themselves. They wouldn't think, wow.
Oh, no, they do it on purpose.
Right. I'm confused now. I was kind of hoping that they'd be actual legitimate published books, and someone went, that's so bad, I'm submitting it to this.
No. It's a contest where they're trying to come up with the world's worst sentence, which actually is harder than it looks.
I feel a challenge in the wings.
You go. Let's see if you can come up with something equally obnoxious. I seem to be doing well just writing, and it ends up bad. So there you go.
I was going to say, I've got your copy of Future Run here. Let's see if I can... No.
No! Be nice.
That could be a new segment on your show.
Yeah, Catherine's books.
Oh, we do that. Catherine does do that with her books. No,
Actually,
no question.
We did have a segment. It was called Bring Out Your Dead. And it was a segment of where people could send in things that they've written that were terrible. Because let's be honest, when you start out, everything is shit. So you hide it away because you don't really want to throw it away, just in case. And we encourage that. So if anyone does have something like that, send it in. We don't do that segment anymore because we sort of run out of our own rubbish to read.
Yeah.
But yes, send it in. podcast@newbiewriters.com. All right. That'll do it for this week. Chris, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's been fun.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I'll give a shout out to my team doing the California startup thing. It's a pleasure to work with them, and I think they're all jealous that this is what I'm doing on a Friday afternoon instead of slaving away on a computer.
There you go.
Let's be honest, it's still work. You're having to work with me.
And Chris, are you going to be at the Berkeley Book Festival, the Bay Area Book Festival?
I don't know. When is it?
This weekend.
Well,
no, I'm in Seattle this weekend.
Oh, okay.
That's a bit late notice, Catherine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in charge of it, otherwise he would have known sooner.
Right. That's all good.
I'm just asking the question. You never know.
So there's your shout out then for the book thing.
Yeah, if you're in the Bay Area, there's the Bay Area Book Festival in Berkeley. They're closing down some of the streets, and it's going to be a great big scene. And there's many speakers and many booksellers. And I'm going to go and take my long-suffering husband, who already has the plot of Lawn that he's going to put himself on while I do the book thing, and he's just going to read. So I'm bringing my own book. I'm going to chill, have at it. So this would be his version of standing by a fountain while I'm in a museum. So we're going to do that tomorrow. So if you're in the Bay Area, go check out the Bay Area. It's called the Bay Area Book Festival. It's the very first one. So it'd be nice if it was successful, so that we can do more.
Huh. And Chris, where can we find you on Twitter? What's your Twitter handle?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris_C_Weber. Mm-hmm. You can also just find me. I'm listed on the AuthorRise Twitter account, which is just AuthorRise, spelled as 2 words put together. And I'm linked there too, since I manage both accounts. So if you write to us at Twitter, I'm the one that answers. If you write to us on the website, I'm the one that answers. It all comes to me one way or the other.
It's all about you. I see how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you can follow me at Newbie Writers on Twitter, and also on Google+. You can find me out there. And Catherine, you're there somewhere.
I am there someplace. You follow me on C. Bramkamp on Twitter. Go to the Newbie Writers Facebook page. I'm running a contest there, or a contest there every Thursday or every Tuesday. I ask a question about that's based on Future Gold, which is coming up July 1st, and you can get a free copy of Future Gold if you answer the question, if you know what the image is, and I'm doing that until I leave for France.
Oh, right. I probably can't do that. A bit biased. Now, that'll do it for this week.
That'll do it.
Until next week.
Until next week.
Your book starts here on the Newbie Writers Podcast.